what's your preference? Does your man have to be taller than you two?
No, I would say my preference of what I like would be 5'10" and up, but if it is my soulmate and he's 5'8", I would totally be with him.
When they say soulmate, what they mean is highly attractive, but they're using what I call a conceal word that doesn't make them look as shallow as they really are. Because I'll be honest with y'all, women are way more shallow than we are. Way more. They demand a certain amount of money. They demand a certain height. They demand you to have certain things in place. They won't even talk to you if you don't meet their minimum requirements. Okay, so check this out, right? So I made this tweet. Got a good amount of engagement. This also comes, so let's watch this real quick, some more female nature shit for you guys. Gotta keep y'all niggas sharp with these hoes, man. So this girl's like, what, 6'1" or some shit like that? So let's see what she says, and then we're gonna go into my tweet.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'1", but I'm about 6'5" right now.
Would you say that dating at 6'5" is just as easy for you as it is shorter women?
No, probably harder for me a little bit.
Why is that the case?
I find a lot of men who don't want tall women. I was actually talking with my friend who's 6'5" without heels, and they often feel like they have to compete with us. So it's very hard to date a woman who's very tall. I would say 5'10" plus. If a man is competitive, it will come out for sure.
But what's your preference? Does your man have to be taller than you two?
No, I would say my preference of what I like would be 5'10" and up. I'm 6'1", like I said, without heels. But if it is my soulmate and he's 5'8", I would totally be with him.
If he's my soulmate and he's 5'10", I would, okay, bro. Let's play this back again, because this is very important, and this is something I want you guys to catch about women.
5'10" and up, it will come out for sure.
But what's your preference? Does your man have to be taller than you two?
No, I would say my preference of what I like would be 5'10" and up. I'm 6'1", like I said, without heels. But if it is my soulmate and he's 5'8", I would totally be with him.
So if he's my soulmate, so this is something actually that women do this all the time, and so many guys don't catch on to it, right? And it's very important. I'm about to give you guys like a big red pill on this shit. So when you ask women what they want, right? When you ask them about a guy that might not meet their standards, let's say the girl says, I want a guy that's 5'10", just like this example. I want a guy that's 5'10", that's my bare minimum. But if my soulmate comes around, I'll do 5'8". What that soulmate means, right? Because women are never honest about what they actually want in men. What that really means is he needs to meet all my other criteria to the upteenth level, okay? If he's gonna be 5'8", better be my soulmate. But what they won't tell you is that soulmate means he needs to make a lot of money, he needs to have some social status, he needs to be funny, he needs to be charismatic, etc. When women say what they want, they always assume attraction. I'll give you another example. They say stupid shit like, I like nerds. Translation, I want you to look like fucking Clark Kent with your shirt off, and when you wear glasses on Sundays, you look like a nerd. That is a nerd to a woman, chat. Not like what we think about when we talk about fucking playing StarCraft or World of Warcraft or gaming for 20 hours a day. That's what men think of as nerds, right? Fucking freckle face or some shit like that. With girls, they're like, a hot guy with glasses is a nerd, because they're stupid, right? They don't understand this shit. So when women say one thing, I need you guys to understand something else. But let's keep playing the video. I don't want to cook too much right now. I want you guys to watch this whole video, and then I'm going to read my tweet for you guys.
I've dated a guy that's 5'8", so.
So why do so many
I dated a girl that's 5'8". Where's that nigga now then?
stupid men get caught up in, I'm not 6 foot, she's probably not even going to give me a shot?
Because unfortunately, a lot of women do judge height, and a lot of women do have this trend
They all judge height.
of, he needs to be 6 foot plus, he needs to be 6 foot plus, and it's like,
Now, how they respond to said height is different because they all judge height, but I would argue for some girls, you're going to be automatically disqualified if you don't reach a certain height.
a check. It's like a box they have to check. And it's going to limit so many women from being actually happy, because if you're hyper-focused on the physical, you're never going to be happy. Looks fade very quickly. Height fades.
Looks fade on women very quickly. You know, it's always interesting when women say looks fade very quickly and all this other shit. You know when they typically realize that? When they're getting older themselves. When they're getting older themselves, they'll sit there and say, oh, looks fade quickly. Yeah, for you guys. We become more attractive as we age, not you guys.
Very quickly. If looks were all that mattered, Hollywood couples would never break up. I dealt with it when I was younger, and when I listened to the haters of men saying, oh, I want a short girl, I want a little girl, I want a little side piece, I don't want a tall girl that's taller than me. And now I don't listen to that. I listen to the positivity and I embrace that. And
that's literally why women are retarded, because they don't listen to the negativity. Women, like, constructive criticism or, challenging of the worldviews is something that most women really don't deal with often in life, if I want to be honest with you guys. A lot of the times, women really get told no.
I hope that men do the same when they hear women like me say height doesn't matter.
That's a fucking lie, man. God damn. All right, so let me read this tweet for you guys, right? So I watched this interview. I'm about to drop a big red pill for you niggas, right? Quote, never believe what women say, especially in public. Look at their actions. This woman is single for a reason, and this is a feeble attempt at seeming humble and grounded, something women often lie about. Well, if women told the truth on what they really want, stay at home and not work with kids, 100K plus a year, 6 foot, muscular, lean, fit, dominant, decisive, undermine her authority but still hear out her stupid ideas, ignore her to become great, measured and minimal attention, let her be off in la la land while you crush it, fuck her like a whore but a gentleman in public, men in large, even blue pill simps, would lose respect for them and put them back where they should have been from the beginning. Ascent class citizens in the kitchen. Don't agree? Why do you think the 3 major religions all spoke of female fuckery in their ancient books, the Bible, Quran, and Torah? Why do they all dictate a patriarchal society? And how did they all come to the same conclusion on women despite no phones, email, internet, or mass communication? It's simple. Though society has changed, female nature never changed, and God understands his creation better than anyone else. Modernity and feminism has only exacerbated the negatives of female nature while simultaneously making understanding women more difficult for the common man. And this is why I tell you guys all the time, there is no one on the internet, I think, that could speak to female nature better than myself, right? You got people like Jordan Peterson, you got people like David Buss, etc. These guys are great from an academic standpoint, but they could talk to you guys about female psychology, the primitive nature of it, but they can't talk to you guys about female nature and how that's personified now in modern society, right? So they could talk to you guys all day about like theory and how women mate select and the way they go about mate selecting, whatever, but in actuality and how they practice in 2025, I don't think there's anyone else that could blend the psychological with the pragmatic in 2025 and merge the two together. And that's what I'm trying to say here with this situation. Like, women never tell the truth about what they're actually aroused by. They'll give like bullshit things, or they'll say, oh yeah, he could be 5'8" if he's my soulmate, right? That if is very important. And the soulmate is really something else. When they say soulmate, what they mean is highly fucking attractive. But they're using what I call a conceal word. A conceal word, okay? That doesn't make them look as shallow as they really are. Because I'll be honest with y'all, all the women are way more shallow than we are. Way more. Way more. They try to, lie and say, no, I'm not shallow. But they demand a certain amount of money. They demand a certain height. They demand you to have certain things in place. They won't even talk to you if you don't meet their minimum requirements. But they'll lie and say, oh, my soulmate, or I'm not shallow, or I have high standards. Well, guess what? If you have high standards, you are by definition shallow. You know what I'm saying? If you have high standards, you are shallow. So when women say this shit, right, it's to kind of make themselves look better. But the reality is, like, what they tell you guys they're attracted to versus what they're actually really attracted to are two different things. And then to make it worse, they dress up certain words to not come off a certain way. And this is why so many guys struggle with women, because a lot of these guys actually believe what these women be saying. They really think, like, what they say is what they mean. And I'm here to tell you guys, what they say and what they mean are two different things. Okay? What women say and what they mean, two completely different things. Women don't use the English language to actually communicate what they mean. They use the English language to communicate how they feel. Okay? When you speak to a female, they don't really care what you're saying. They care about how you're saying it. Okay? They look at the underlinings of the communication. That's what they're more interested in. This is why they get so offended by tone. When you guys see them on the show, and they're ever saying, it's your tone, yeah. It's because they're very receptive to tone, because that is their superpower, okay? Why do you guys think women hate each other? I'll tell you why. Because woman talks to us, she says, oh, blah, blah, blah. We're like, okay, cool, no big deal. Because we actually listen to what she says and listen to the message being conveyed, right? Through the spoken language. With women, however, that girl will say that same exact thing to her and she'll take it offensively. You want to know why? Because it's not what she said, it's how she said it. Okay? She cares more about how she said it. How many times a girl pulls you to the side after meeting another female? I don't like that bitch. Right? I think we've all been in a situation like this before. Right? You're there at a family meeting of some kind. You got your chick with you, right? You're introducing her to people at this event, right? And maybe your girlfriend says hi to somebody. Oh, hi. I love your hair. Oh my God, so great. You know, your girlfriend tells another female friend that you know, yeah, I love her hair, blah, blah, blah. And then the female friend tells your girlfriend, oh yeah, thank you so much, blah, 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 right? They have their little female discussion. Who gives a fuck what they say, right? Bunch of bullshit. Then you go back with your girl and your girl tells you, yeah, I don't like her. And you're like, what the fuck? Why? Why do you not like her? Oh, I saw she was trying to test me. What? What are you I was there. I listened to the conversation. It seemed like you guys were talking about makeup and hair and girl shit. What are you talking about? Yeah, but the way she phrased the questions is like she was disrespectful. What? But that's how women communicate. Though you're sitting there listening to the conversation and you're like, damn, they're getting along. This is awesome. Maybe I'll get a threesome out of this. Yes. Yes. Right? What you don't know is that your girl and the other girl are fighting cerebrally. But it comes off as a good conversation, right? In your head, you're like, yeah, I'm about to get a threesome. They like each other. Meanwhile, your girl's like, fuck this bitch. Your female friend, fuck this bitch. But they're, yeah, I love you, you look so great, So this is why they're so sensitive to the way language is said in communication. Again, I really want to harp this to you guys. They don't give a fuck about what is said. They only care about how it's said and the context and the tone. That's what they care about. And this is why women absolutely detest each other. Because they don't like it when someone else is being deceptive. Does that make sense? Why do you guys think all the time women get mad at boyfriends when they're manipulative? Right? He's toxic, manipulative, because they don't want anyone else to have that leverage of manipulation skills. They want to have it. They want to be able to exercise the leverage of manipulation. They don't want their man to have it or other women. So when someone else can play their game, they get angry. Why do you guys think women hate me so much? Because I tell you guys to date like they do. I tell you guys, treat women like an expendable commodity. Date multiple of them. Have a roster. Don't let her think she's special. Minimize communication and attention. Right? Why do women hate me so much? You guys want to know why? Because I tell you guys to behave like them. Okay? That's why they hate me so much. I'm giving you guys their playbook, right? I'm deciphering the womanese. So anytime men teach other men how to deal with women and play their game back at them, there's going to be problems. So there's two types of people that women hate. Men that play their game and other women. Because number one, you can't fool another woman because she knows what the fuck you're trying to do, bitch. And then if a guy's red pill aware, you can't fool him. So the only leverage that women have when they deal with men a lot of times is their ability to manipulate. Because a lot of men are socially retarded because they actually take at face value what women say, right? But if you actually take at face value what women say, guess what they're going to do? They're going to play. I'll say that again for you fucking guys. All right, rewind that shit because this is very important. If you actually take them and what they're going to say, they're going to play with you because what they say and what they mean are two completely different things. There's no such thing as I'm a woman of my word. There's a reason why it's called I'm a man of my word, okay? All I have in this world is my balls and my word. I'm a man of my word. Word is bond. These are all masculine phrases. Nothing about women ever encodes honor, chat. Everything about them is deception. Makeup, heels, waist trainers, getting their hair done, dyeing their hair, them being on their periods, them when they're horny, them when they show their attraction. Everything about women is a mystique. It's all fucking smoke and mirrors. So when guys like me come in, bro, I'm like the fucking leaf blower, nigga. They got all this mist around them. You don't know what's going on. I come in with the leaf blower. You know? Call me Juan. Okay? I'm the fucking landscaper, the hostcaper. Come in with that fucking leaf blower. demystify that bitch for you niggas. So you guys know exactly what the fuck they're trying to do. And when you remove the smoke, when you remove the mirrors, you understand what it really is. Men and women are completely different, and men are superior to women in almost every fucking way. The only thing they have an advantage on us with is, like I told you guys before, they can pick up on communication undertones that most men can't do. However, you can learn. It will take years. It will be much more difficult for you, but you can absolutely go ahead and pick up on this skill set that women are born with. The ability to detect, deception. Women are a lot better at us than that. And that's from a survival standpoint, right? Some girl meets a guy, he looks a little weird, his mannerisms are off and shit like that. It's a way for them to kind of get their spidey sense and get the fuck out of there, because she knows if she gets into a physical confrontation with this individual, she won't be able to actually take him on. So women are far more sensitive to looking at things like this than men are. It's a safety mechanism. Now, I know we just did a whole fucking deep dive on female nature here, but I do think it's imperative that you guys understand this stuff. Okay? I really do think it's important that you guys understand this stuff, because if you don't, it's going to lead to fucking heartache. It's going to lead to problems. It's going to lead to you losing your wealth or your resources, your fucking mind. You know how many guys have put a gun to their fucking head over a female? Millions. Absolute millions. So, and this is human nature, because men, since the beginning of time, we've always wanted to understand things. The reason why we have the world that we have now, right? All this, the cameras, the lights, all this shit, this all comes from male ingenuity, male discovery, right? The reason why men are so resourceful and create things is because we understand that our identity is based upon what we create, okay? This is why a woman takes a man's last name and not the other way around. So, hey man, look, some people say I'm a sexist or whatever, oh well. That's what women want. Women want sexist. Because I'll tell you this. When that bill comes, right, and it's time to pay the check, they want you to be a sexist. When someone robs a house, they want you to be a fucking sexist. Right? There's a physical confrontation outside of a bar.
Welcome, punch!
They want you to be a sexist. This whole egalitarian, equal bullshit, it all goes out the window when shit hits the fan.